Hey, this is Josh, and welcome to my series on tips for online learners. Today we're going to be talking about screen time. So I left a nice little quote there from About Kids Health, but long story short, what screen time is, it's the amount of time somebody spends in front of a screen. And I think it's no secret that in this day and age, not just kids and teenagers, but people in general spend way too much time in front of a screen. And it really does have an impact on our mental health and our physical health. When you think about it, if we're spending so much time in front of a screen, that's time we could be spending outdoors or getting physical activity or even having a face-to-face conversation with somebody. And though online learning has so many benefits for students all over the world, it does come with the price of having to be mindful of how much time you're spending in front of a screen, because odds are all your lessons are going to be online. Most of your assessments are going to be online. You're going to be spending a lot of time in front of a screen, and it's really important that you know how you can at least minimize that. So because online learners spend so much time learning in front of a screen, they'll really have to be mindful of ways they can reduce this screen time, not just during school hours, but also outside of school hours too. Sources of additional screen time can also include video games, smartphones and tablet usage, as well as television. And I really do want to highlight video games, and I definitely don't want to sound like the old man yelling at the cloud, but I personally think people spend way too much time playing video games these days, especially when that's time you could be spending, again, outside or engaging in physical activity. And not to mention, it feels better engaging in physical activity, and not to mention has so many more benefits for your health. So there are ways that online students can actually reduce the amount of time they spend in front of a screen. What I recommend doing is taking frequent breaks. Now, they don't have to be long breaks either. You don't want to be spending half of your day on break, but every half an hour or so, take a 1 or 2 minute break away from the screen and just kind of gather yourself and reset before heading back to the screen for your online lesson or assessment or whatever. Incorporate physical and outdoor activities into your schedule. So this kind of goes back to my video I have about scheduling. Make sure you find ways to incorporate physical and outdoor activities and reduce that screen time as well. And finally, incorporate written activities. This can also include, art projects that aren't on a screen, or even considering doing your written work by hand rather than typing it, because that's, again, time you're spending away from the screen. And you don't have to do every single written project or assignment on paper, but every so often it's good to practice those skills as well. Apps. So most platforms actually have a way that you can track your daily screen time. I know I use my iPhone app that reminds me once a week if my screen time has gone up or if it's gone down. And that way you can set screen time goals for yourself as well. So some of these aren't built into the platform right away. You might have to download something, but I highly recommend making use of that and really making sure that you're not going overboard with screen time either. Screen brightness. So if you're experiencing some eye strain or headaches from your online learning, one thing is your screen might be a little too bright. I find that I have that issue sometimes as well. And you don't want to be doing your online lessons in a really, really dark room and having the screen brightness just right in your face. So definitely look into ways you can reduce the screen brightness. And obviously you still want it to be bright enough that you can see what you're doing. But again, everybody's different, and just find what works for you. Getting outside is very, very important. Sunlight is really, really important for our physical and mental health. And one thing I've done since working as an online teacher, as I spend so much time in front of a computer on a daily basis, is that I try to take a 20 to 30 minute walk at lunchtime, right in the middle of my day, just to break things up a bit better. I find this really helps me reset in the afternoons and continue to have a productive work day because I got that really nice long break from the screen. I do have a few additional tips that I want to slip into this video as well. One important thing I find is to really avoid using your smartphone as a break. The days where I find myself looking at my phone every so often, by the end of the day, my brain is just exhausted because I had all that additional screen time from working in front of a screen, but also looking at my phone periodically. It's not a good way to spend your break. And one thing I'd recommend doing is keeping your phone on silent so you're not tempted to look at any notifications or whatever. Or even just put your phone on do not disturb. That way you're not going to get any notifications. School needs to come first. It needs to come before your phone. So don't feel bad about putting your phone on silent or responding to that text message after the school day is done. It's definitely worth it on a day-to-day basis. Another thing I'd recommend doing is every 30 minutes or so, maybe just spend a minute or two looking outside, like looking through the window. It's another way you can get some sunlight. It's not as good as going out and taking a walk, of course, but it is a great break from the screen. And you can even take it a step further and take some deep breaths while you're looking out the window. I know that might sound kind of weird, but it's honestly really, really refreshing for me. And it's just a great way to get away from the screen. Try to incorporate stretching or physical activity in your breaks as well. Even just taking some time to stretch, maybe close your eyes, breathe while you're stretching. Another really good way to reduce that screen time. So I could go on even longer with this, but I do want to end it there. Thank you so much for watching this video. Consider subscribing to my channel as well if you want more tips, and thank you for watching.